Hello. Welcome to the second episode of the Only Focus podcast with me, Kolawole Bikunle. And who else would I bring to this podcast than my very good friend, Dr. Musluddin Adeoye. Um,
Is this the part where I will clap?
this is the
Eh,
part where we clap, actually.
eh.
And yes, on the first episode, I sort of started with Jimmy from where we met, and then worked our way to where we were. I think for you, I think we'll do the opposite. We'll start from where we are, and then work our way backwards, if that's all right with you.
Yeah,
Hopefully.
yeah.
Okay.
I think that
So
sounds like something that I can do because thinking about where we're coming from, that was a long time ago. I'm not
it's
sure I have
really,
that
it's
memory.
really long. That's the thing. The thing is, Jimmy's episode. I'm sure you haven't seen it. Go see it.
Interestingly,
Um, uh, did you see like everything?
no, I didn't watch it fully, but I started
Yeah.
and I think I watched reasonable part of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Mm.
It was supposed to be like a 30-minute podcast, and we ended up spending 3 hours in it. I'm hopeful that you don't have
You
3 hours because it has to be at work tomorrow.
trust me, I don't.
I guess the first thing is my sort of vision for this podcast it was going to be weekly. And I was stuck in my head that, of course, after Jimmy, you were going to be sort of like the next person that I had to have on. Because, of course, if your friends are not on your podcast, then why are you doing it?
What are you
And
doing?
it's and then it's taking me 1 month for me to get you on here. And I want to find out why. One, the essence I gave you is that it is busy. Like you just been busy. Of course, you're pretty busy. But you kept asking me what we're going to talk about in the podcast. So a part of me felt like you were dodging it, and I didn't understand it. I didn't understand it. So explain to me what happened.
Guy, this sounds like you're casting me already because in all honesty, uh, I think you're right in a way by saying that it's not like okay, I'm super busy like that. I think a part of me was just dodging this. Like, okay, I saw the episode with Jimmy. Yeah, it was very nice, and I was like,
Oh,
okay,
thank you.
yeah, I
The
was
thing
I
is,
was just like, do I have that like okay, the luxury of the time going
yeah,
back those memory lanes and
yeah.
everything. I'm just like this guy. I beg, I'll do this with you when I feel like okay, I want to. But later I realized that if I'm to go that way, Baba, we're never gonna do this.
Yeah, yeah. It
So
felt like we're
at the
just
point
like
I was just like, you
going
know
in
what, let's
and
just
going in
let's, let's do it.
and going out. And the thing is, it felt like it was against every concept I had of you because of course you have been you've not only been a very close friend, you are naturally a friendly, easy to talk to, confident sort of like person. That's how I sort of know you. So to see part of you dodging the podcast felt like, okay, now that is weird. That is the reason why we have to do it. You don't have a choice.
Baba, yeah, yeah, apparently I don't have an option. So and you're so hard to say no to because I've never been on a podcast before.
Oh,
Yeah,
nice.
I know we've tried
The-
some little interview things back in the days, like very,
Yeah, yeah. The thing
but this
is,
is something different
it
and
is it's different, but it's also the same thing. We talk on like FaceTime or like WhatsApp video all the time. The podcast is really small. Nobody barely watches it. So it is like we're actually talking to us ourselves. So the
you
podcast
can
is like,
say that again.
it's pretty
But you
small.
know that when you say, oh, I would like to have you on my podcast.
It's not like a big thing.
Then it sounds like, oh, it's official. Am
You
I
should.
ready to like, okay, palm
I
something
will.
in?
I will send you the statistics for the for the Jimmy episodes. It is
Okay.
basically, I think if anybody watched it, you, maybe my wife did, and maybe the people who had data in Ibadan in my house watched it. That's all. Like literally, that's all. That's all.
Yeah, but in all honesty, like Rome was never built in a day.
Absolutely, absolutely.
All these things like this, I think, yeah, the thing that I appreciate about like this is yes, the way you like okay come about it, the way you handle things, and always know you to be like okay, a go getter, whatever you want to do. You're the type of person that I know that you don't actually like um mind how it starts or what other like okay the negative energies or anything if you're fixed like okay yeah I want to do this yeah I think that's one thing I appreciate about you but what can we do to like okay support
Like,
our more boys so yeah
Abby,
well,
Abby. So enough of me, raining on your parade. I think the sort of where I wanted to start is sort of like GP Learn. Of course, we are both full-time GPs. You have been a GP longer than I have been,
well,
and of course you are at this point you are more established, and of course, you are more busy than I am now. What sense do you make of GP land as it stands now? I know that's a very vague question, but that will lead somewhere. What sense do you make of GP land as it starts now? As it stands now?
well you said it's actually a very broad one and I can only talk from where I stand to some extent from perspective of us coming all the way, from Nigeria as IMG in the system. But GP land as a whole, I think that's something too broad for me to like, okay, talk about. But like, okay, the hustle, the career progression and the or let me say the what we're looking at in terms of the future. Yeah, I might be able to like okay say one or two.
Yes, I think I wanted to start a bit broad to narrow into those particular points, and that's specifically what I'm talking about. My own reaction to GP Land has been, and of course, I would set the same for this because you have it better than I do currently. Is that I'm a six session GP. I basically chose six sessions on the basis that I would be able to do some locum work on some off days and thus supplement my income. Currently, I earn less than I earned as a GP as a GP registrar, and the thought was it was going to be the locum that was going to at least help sort of either maintain or improve my lifestyle. So far I've been a full-fledged GP second month now. It's not looking that way. It's the expectation is not what I mean. The reality is not what the expectation is. And I am on this. I don't know if we spoke about this before. I'm on this. Um, is it an app or a website called Lansum for like locums?
Okay, yeah, I know Lantum.
And I see the rates on there, the rates per hour, and
Yeah,
they are ridiculous.
yeah.
You will get things like 70 pounds an hour for 6 hours
Mm,
at 10 minutes per appointment.
yeah.
And you won't have a choice than to apply. And even if you apply on that website, because it is sort of like it's very widespread, you apply on that website. on that job that you are thinking twice about, that I don't know, you
Yeah,
already have 12 applications on that.
exactly.
Wow. And to me, it just felt like this is ridiculous. And also, one other thing I've been thinking about recently is that, of course, we are still sort of like pretty young. Of course, you have children. I don't. That those rates are okay now, but am I applying for the same rates that people who are 5 years, 10 years into their career, we're applying for the same jobs? Are we saying in 5 or 10 years, I will be applying for jobs at £70 an hour?
Yeah, it's
And
unfortunate.
what does that say about sort of like the future of um like your own personal future? What your aims and aspirations are, what you aim to achieve in the next 5 to 10 years? Because I don't know, of course, your kids are still sort of pretty small, but
Mm,
college comes fast. Okay,
yeah,
so are you going to be able to afford that on a £70? But of course, you are doing things a bit differently, and that's why I said I was going to set that a bit, set the stage a bit differently, because of course you are relatively quote unquote well paid as a salary GP, and you do have um like constant sort of like locums that sort of supplement your income.
yeah.
So maybe you can reflect on that, or from your own setting, but how are you thinking about this? Sort of like five,
Uh,
10 years down the line.
you know what I think, Ola? I think let's go back a little bit. Um, I'll start from where you started. Like the expectations, trust me, even from the beginning, I remember when we wanted to like coming all the way from Nigeria to the UK. And within a year, I made the decision that yes, I was going to become a GP. Yeah. And back then, I remember there was this doctor, a GP, that was working in the out of hour in Whittington Hospital in London, where I first where I got the first job. And that man was a full-time locum who was working, you know, in urgent care. They called the middle of COVID that time that we came to the UK. And he showed me his pay slip that day. And I won't lie to you, bro. That was the first motivation that I got. And I was like, see, every other thing, talking about work-life balance, quality of life, all those things were just addendum to the pay slip that I saw from that GP. And you can imagine when somebody was showing me like the invoice that he was going to claim from the hospital for that
Mm,
month, and it was
mm,
in total of 25,000 plus.
1,000.
And there I was working with consultants that their salary at the end of the month was less than 7,000 quid.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So as a young lad that that is like trying to make a decision, it was so like it was a no-brainer for me to just say, okay, I'll be a GP. And when people ask you why, like I remember my clinical supervisor then when I approached him and I told him that I was going to, that I've made up my mind that I was going to be a GP, and he asked me, um, the easiest lie I could tell him was that I learned with GP, you get work-life balance.
Isn't it?
You can like choose where to work, when to work, and how you want to work. And I remember very well, I told him that my wife and my kids were in Nigeria. My plan was to bring them to the UK, and I wanted to have quality time
With
with
them.
them. Yeah, he bought it, definitely.
You didn't tell him that you had seen a payslip.
Yeah. Deep within me, it was the invoice that I saw
Hey, that's
that actually motivated me. And you can imagine how painful it is now, like having that thing that you aspire, that you want to get, that you had a picture in your head. I remember there was a time I was telling my wife that, don't worry.
It's about to be cash
When she's
flow.
like, no, I have to do this, I have to do this. See, calm down. Don't worry. Just let me finish this. In fact, you're not gonna work. I'll be making this money. Like that expectation was like this. And by the time we're done as a GP trainee, a lot of things have changed. Policy, funding, um, I don't like saying this, but I will cheat it. The like some degree of like, how do I say that I don't sound racist myself? You know, like fight against IMG, let me put it that way.
Yeah,
Like taking up the job and all that. And all that unfortunately did not work in favor of GP. To be fair, even in other like specialties as well, NHS as a whole, things changed. Okay. And GPs are badly affected because when you have like good funding and you have enough money to like go around, then they just cut it. Partners are businessmen.
absolutely.
They have to make money. They have to make profit at the end of the day. And
Mm.
so you can imagine how things changed with that. For 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 me as a GP now, I would say it is not what I expected. You understand? But this is what we have now.
Yeah.
Like I can't remember if it was yourself or somebody else that were looking at a local post. I think it was you that you showed me the 2023
Oh
advert
yeah.
for a job.
Yeah. Yeah.
Unfortunately, a job I'm currently like, okay,
Yeah,
a
that you're
job I'm currently
currently
doing
working.
for 70 something pounds an hour. And that
Oh,
job was advertised for about 175 pounds.
well, yeah.
Yeah. So you
Yeah.
can you can imagine how guys were making money back then.
Yeah.
It's so funny because the same set of guys that
Yeah.
worked back then and made the good money, they you can't blame them because yes, the also is real. When everything like okay shut down and
Yeah.
there wasn't much money, people move. And that's where you hear about this Japa 2.0 and all that.
2.0.
So to cut it short or to summarize, in terms of the financial expectation, it's unfortunate that yeah, GP role, especially salary GP, is not there. It's not where it used to be. And it's unfortunate that the vacancy or the job roles are not that like open again because the partners are like okay managing their fund.
Mm-hmm.
And because of that, local job is also not as juicy as it used to be.
Okay, used to be.
Yeah. And because of that, it's funny how things turn around.
Yeah.
Like you now see partners coming out as a full-fledged businessman
Yeah.
rather
Yeah.
than a doctor or
I
a
don't
chief.
like it. Also,
Yeah.
yeah.
So they are
Yeah. Yeah.
micromanaging. And
Yeah.
there you see yourself like, okay, especially if you need a certificate of sponsorship
Yeah.
to be in a job, then you see yourself being as in pushed to a tight corner in terms of what we can afford to give you, what you have to like. I've heard stories. I would say
mm,
personally, I feel a bit, just a little bit lucky with the place I got my as in my current place of work and also
mm,
the locality where I'm working, where
mm,
I'm in, that we tend to have at least maybe some weekend we get to do some locum job just to supplement.
mm,
So what I realize is that because of that change, the two things, both the true thing in my head, which was the financial expectation, and the little lie that I quoted for my supervisor then, which was the
mm.
work-life balance, for you
Yeah.
to be able to make enough for yourself to sustain your cost of living in this UK, then you realize that you have to sacrifice the work-life
The
balance.
work-life balance. Yeah, absolutely.
Unfortunately, that even after sacrificing that, because personally, I think I'm the kind of person that would love to have my weekend to myself. In my head, when I was training, the intention or the plan was I will only work maybe 3 or 4 days a week. And I want to have that 3 days of like, okay, do some other things and explore. Okay.
Mm,
But seeing myself like, okay, I currently do 7 sessions
yeah.
as a GP. And for 7 sessions, that's 3.5 days. Okay. And I still like, okay, see myself on average in a weekend, I pick at least 1 or 2 local shifts.
Mm, mm,
Okay. So that's literally like me doing a 5.5 day job
okay.
a week.
Mm,
And it's annoying because what you even get at the end of the day is not up to
yeah.
like, not even up to like 25% of
Yeah.
what you were like your or the picture that you had in your head, you know.
Yeah.
So things
Yeah.
have changed,
Yeah.
definitely. It's not
Yeah.
where we thought it's going to be. But to answer your question about like the future, that is it sustainable? I believe that's what you were trying to say in
Yeah.
terms of cost of
Yeah.
living.
Yeah,
Yeah.
because bills are just going to increase. Like as the kids advance in their own lives, those bills are just going to rack up. So what are your thoughts as regards if this sort of continues and then your bills are going up? What are your thoughts around that?
Papa, the bills are already growing up, whether you like it or not. Because it's unfortunate you mentioned something that what you're earning now as a salary GP is not even up to what you used to earn as a
Yeah,
S. Because on the
yeah,
average, I think STR, ST3, yes, by the time, as at the time I qualified, when I CCT'd last year, and ST3 were like, there was this increment after
yeah,
we started
yeah.
and everything. Then I was just like, it even pays me to remain as ST3 than the contract that I had in front of me if I'm
People
to
literally
do
people literally did it. Like they didn't mind not like passing the exam
passing the exam. Yeah,
because their salaries was going to be higher than
yeah, yeah.
what
It's,
they were
it's,
going
it's
to
going to
get.
be like, what's the point? You understand? If I become the only thing to show for it, there will be my CCT.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Because if you decide to, especially in places where like they're offering £10,000 or £10,000 per session for a GP, 10,500 per session for a GP, you just realize that you can't even, if you decide to do 3.5 days or 3 days, you can't even get to what you used to earn as a GP STR.
Yeah,
Bro,
absolutely.
you
Absolutely.
can imagine how
Absolutely.
crazy that is. It's like okay, you're a consultant and you're earning lower than your your
Yeah,
STR.
absolutely.
So
Absolutely.
yeah, the work-life balance that you were craving for as well, you just realize that you have to sacrifice that.
Yeah, yeah.
just to catch up
Yeah.
financially. And
Yeah.
once, whether you like it or not, the system we live in, the bill cannot get better.
Mm.
It's unfortunate. The bill cannot get better. They can only go. And if you listen to the news,
That's not very reassuring.
seriously, it cannot. And with all the government policy and everything, tax, you just realize that was okay. That time that I mentioned that junior doctors went on strike,
Yeah.
we got salary increments.
Mm.
I think I had about extra because I already like CCT'd before the increment came and everything.
Am
And
I
I
right?
I had like extra £1,500
Mm.
to myself, which I was very happy about,
Oh,
even though that
absolutely.
was like cumulatively over 2 years kind of arrears. And guess what happened? HMRC,
The
I
big
got
bad
a
wolf.
letter that said I was owing 800 quid. And I
The
just could not like
400.
phantom it. So with the kind of dream that we have
Yeah.
coming up here, I
Yeah.
would say is unfortunate that yes, you might not be able to meet that if you're not willing to go extra mile.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
that's why, like, okay, I have a friend who has moved to Canada now.
Mm.
And when he was telling me his uh reason for moving, like I could like completely understand. Baba CCT'd in 2022.
Mm.
He was making that kind of money, I told you.
Yeah.
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 And things changed. And as at 2024, as at last year before he moved, he could barely get £6,000 a month.
Oh.
Yeah. And to get that £6,000, he had to travel to Scotland
Oh
from
God.
England to go and work for 3 days.
Oh
And
God.
yeah, his family, because he's already established in England. So
Yeah.
he moved like that and all that. So eventually we had this discussion. I was like, he's not seeing that it's not sustainable. And he was even like, he's an older doctor. He has kids
Yeah.
that are already in grammar school, in secondary
Yeah.
school, sorry.
Yeah.
And so he had to move. Even though it's not the like, okay, the best, because he has his family here in England, but
Oh, so he moved alone.
he moved alone, yeah, for now. So he moved
Mm.
alone because the kids, bro, I don't know if you've thought about it. Yeah, I think, yeah, like you said, we've come way back. Like we've had discussion about life. We've talked about
Yeah.
almost every aspect of life you
Yeah.
can imagine. And I think there was a day, I don't know if it was, yeah, it was you that we're talking about, okay, my energy, I remember in the room that day was like this about like Jackpot 2.0 thing I want to go and do. You said something. I might not show you that it hit me or it hit me that day, but Boko Kasara, I just like, okay, take it up. Like, okay. Because you said, how long are we going to continue
Yeah.
moving? When are we going to get established?
Yeah.
And in reality, this life is short. As a Muslim, if I'm allowed to say, we have to live our life as if it's going to be the last day.
Absolutely.
Anything can
Absolutely.
happen anytime. So this chase is an unending one.
This constant chase. Yeah.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Canada was sounding like a very like a greener pasture to everybody. And yes, now we're hearing stories again.
Yeah.
Back from
Yes.
Canada, feedback from Australia, how things are like
Yeah.
change and all.
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
it's a
Yeah.
very big one.
Did you go
I,
and look at the Facebook post I told you about? Did you go and check it?
no, I have not.
You
I've not
haven't?
checked it
Okay.
yet.
Check it if you can.
So,
It is
so,
very
so, yeah.
interesting.
The feedback. I have a friend that left for Canada that we spoke recently. He's a Zimbabwe guy,
Yeah.
and he was telling me about like how the expectation was like this and what he met going there. You understand? So it's just a function of what is driving us. Yeah. And if it is something, if you have the energy, if you have the spirits, and yeah, you're in for that game. Yeah, I don't think uh I can encourage or I can discourage people rather. But at the same time, yeah, we also have to think about our life. Like, okay,
Yeah. Yeah.
how is it going to be? Where are we going? Yeah, I
Yeah.
don't know if that answers some of the
Yeah,
questions.
yeah, I think it does. I think it's my aim for that is just for both of us to sort of like reflect on the journey that we are currently on, which is like the GP and how the expectations um and sort of like the reality, how it coincides, or how it collides at the moment. On the sort of like the terms of success. One other sort of like thing is sort of like you personally, you have been you have been at least pretty successful by the yardstick that we will
I need
measure
to know
things.
the yardstick you're using to measure that, bro.
That is sort of where I'm coming to. And
Okay.
it is sort of professionally because the aim is you come into the UK, do some training, finish training, start a job, earn, earn a decent wage. And of course, I don't want but if anyone listens to this podcast, I don't want it to be like we are being sort of like ungrateful. By God's grace, you at least partly own your own house. You drive a really good car. We thank God for life.
Alhamdulillah.
But of course, just like we are humans, it's not enough. That's what the very first part was about.
Mm.
So that's just a segue into saying you've been pretty successful professionally. Now, that cannot be said of yourself socially as well. You had, to put it sort of like mildly, you've had some pretty challenging social side of things, on the social side of things.
Mm.
Now, the question, and specifically the question is, do you think there is like a trade-off? Do you think sort of like your social challenges have come from like being overtly dedicated to work and like chasing success and like getting it and then sort of like neglecting the social part? And that's why those challenges were there. What do you think about that?
Well, looking back now, um, I think it will make more sense to look at, okay, what were those things that probably you're thinking? Because yes, when you feel like, okay, you were here and you're struggling to get to the peak of your career, and while trying to do that, there are drastic decisions, measures that you take, or things that you took for granted, or things that you just decided to neglect until because you're focused on your career. Then, if that is the case, by the time you get to the peak of your career, then you should be able to look back, like in retrospect, okay, could I have done things differently? That kind of thing. And for me, in all honesty, I don't think there was any
I don't think there was
thing.
any. I don't think there was any trade-offs. You don't think like there was one maybe looking shift that you shouldn't have worked to get money. You don't think
Okay,
there was like you don't think there was.
no. there wasn't, in all honesty, because I think this is something that, yeah, when life throws its challenges at you, even though as a human being, you like, okay, you want to break, but you need that God factor and also your own, what's it called? Your own social support, if I'm to put it that way, to to navigate it. However, like if I look back, I should be able to like, okay, at least pick maybe one or two things that I feel like. And it's interesting that the journey from beginning, like, okay, you want to come to the UK, you want to like, okay, get to the peak of your career and everything. I don't think I've neglected so much of my social
On the
life.
social side.
Yeah, I have colleagues and I know I truly understand where you are coming from. Uh, but I'm just not that type, unfortunately. I try to like, okay, create time for other things that matters in my life. And I also like, okay, there was a time that, basically I was just saying that like I'm not the kind of person that like, okay, sacrifice my social life, to be honest, for anything. I love fun. I don't know
I
you,
think so.
you
I think so. I think
you
so.
say that about me because like like I mentioned, I just believe this life is once. And like I tried my best to enjoy it. And I'm this kind of person that believe in emotional bank accounts with people that matters in my life. Yes. And if like okay, and when we're talking about people that matters, trust me, you can count. Yes, this life,
Absolutely.
that's one thing that I
Absolutely.
in this life. Yes, we have a lot of friends, we have a lot of people around us and everything. But when it comes to the true definition of friendship, of people that matters and all that, you can count.
Absolutely.
And number one is family. So, and it's one thing that like, okay, from day one, I just feel like, okay, whatever sacrifice, because why are we actually in the recent, why are we doing all this?
Absolutely.
Yeah. So, I don't see like neglecting that part of my life or like for the career, so to say. In fact, I
Mm.
feel like it is one field that drives the career
The
progression.
career.
There
Okay.
was this like hunger to be successful
Yeah.
so that you can take care
Absolutely.
of your
Absolutely.
family. You can afford what
So
they
you can
need.
handle that side
You
of
can
things.
handle it exactly. And that in a way, like, okay, yes, was a big drive. And when we're talking about, like you were talking about success, yes, we can define it by the virtue of, say, we came in, yes, this is a new land. Is a new system that we're never used to and everything. And we're able to like internalize ourselves and
Absolutely.
able to like, okay, go for it and ace it. Alhamdulillah. Um, yes, we can measure success in
Based on
that.
that.
Yeah, yeah. Socially, yes, we are able to achieve what I would say our what is expected of us at this age. Yes, I would say because normally whatever thing we achieve now is not luxury. If we're going by definition of luxury,
Yeah.
we're living in a, I know why you are laughing.
Okay.
I know why you're laughing, but bro, we're living in
Mm.
a country where we can afford to like, okay, get some things.
Yeah.
One. Like, it's a function of how long your neck is to accommodate the depth.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah. So personally, I just feel like if ọmọ Yorùbá will say ọmọ tó bá ṣiṣẹ́ déédéé, ó yẹ kó lásìkò gbádùn. So
Yeah,
even if it's going to be like a guilty pleasure,
you should.
yes. I just feel like, okay, this life is once. What you can afford, let's do it, enjoy it. And to answer your question, I personally don't feel like, okay,
Don't
the
feel
social
like.
life is, although if you understand the system that we're in, it's not like back home in Nigeria,
Mm,
where I can say yes, yeah, socially, yeah, we were more like you can achieve a lot socially in Nigeria than unfortunately.
absolutely. Absolutely.
Uh,
Absolutely.
even if you want to, for us, there are a lot of factors that come into place.
Absolutely.
The community, the I would say the weather factor self. Look at you, bro. You are at home, you're wearing hoodie.
Absolutely.
Like, so what do you want to do if you go out? So,
Absolutely.
so
Absolutely.
the weather factor is there. And also the fact that, yes, I can say as a Muslim, we are
You are
also
restricted, isn't it?
restricted in terms of the way we're saying that, yes, the system, people are enjoying themselves the
Good
way
God, I'm
they
good.
think life should be enjoyed.
Good
You
God, I'm
understand?
good.
But
Yeah.
we are limited in how much we can explore
Absolutely.
all,
Absolutely.
all, all that. Yeah.
Absolutely. Yeah. Thanks for that. Moving on. I will set up sort of like this question. Do you believe in pretty privilege? Pretty privilege.
Well, it depends. Maybe you explain
I
what you
will. I will. Okay, now I would explain it by sort of like example.
okay.
Okay. Now, when we were in um medical school, well, I don't think I should use that example actually. Let me
Okay.
use this example. Recently, just recently when I was working on like as an SHO on the ward and uh, that I was covering like I would usually cover a high dependency unit, and like a high dependency unit would have like specialized sort of like nurses who would like they would not call you for like cannulas and stuff like that unless it's absolutely necessary or difficult something like that. So I was working with a Sudanese guy, a big Sudanese guy, a very brash Sudanese guy that did not mind conflict.
Yeah.
So he would during handovers he would now usually from that particular ward he would usually hand over like cannulas to be set on certain days and things of that and things and very sort of like small minute jobs like okay one you should not be doing this. So one day I just challenged him and said, okay, why are you handing over this job from this particular ward? It should be done by the nurses on the
Yeah.
ward. Okay. Now, he said that the nurse that handed it over to him, that I probably know the nurse. So
Yeah.
I don't. It was not like, oh, that pretty nurse. I was like, okay, that is the reason why you're not saying no. That is the
Okay.
reason why you're
Okay.
not saying no to the to the job,
hmm
to the job. And you're handing over and then complicating my own life.
Yeah. Yeah.
So, sort of my definition of pretty privilege is that people get treated differently because they look certain, because they look a certain way.
Yeah.
What do you think about that?
To be honest, I think it's true to some extent. Yeah. If we look at if we're using our environment to address that, I was listening to LBC
Yeah,
recently, and
yeah,
it was interesting that this same topic
It came on.
Yeah, it just came up. And I think there was a guy, he was interesting, yeah. He was a 28-year-old professor.
Yeah,
Yeah,
pretty young.
seriously. And he was talking about his research. And it's interesting how, like, okay, the kind of things that people do research into.
Mm.
There are things that I don't know. I cannot sit down as like feel like, oh, I want to like, okay,
Think
I
about
couldn't
this.
even think about it in the first instance to nevertheless I'm like, okay, say I want to research into it. And this professor came to talk about um certain set of people being richer, getting their
Mm,
ways around things, even when they
mm,
did wrong thing.
mm,
I'll give you an
mm.
example, just like the one you gave. He used NHS as an
Mm.
example, and he was talking about some staff like can do things and get away,
Yes,
that it nobody will raise eyebrow. Whereas other staff will do the same thing or something more trivia and they will get scolded.
mm.
Yeah. And it was an extensive research. I didn't know this kind of conversation will happen anyway, so I didn't really pay interest into the
Yeah.
detail of the research, but I'm sure he published something about it. That was why
Something.
I went to LBC. And he also went deeper to talk about the threshold for complaint
Okay.
in the system for people of white background
Ah, I see.
and people of
No wise.
the base, exactly, the BAME group. And also, he mentioned that female staffs tends to like get away
You think?
things more than the male staff. So there are a lot of things that he considered. And I just let me get the context which you are bringing in because literally that's what I will say. And I know that
Mm.
this thing we just mentioned affects huge part of our life at work, at home, and
Yeah.
even.
The sort of like the underlying part of that is while we were in medical school,
Mhm.
uh, I so we would normally hang out most of the time together, myself, yourself, Kenny, Kathleen,
Yeah.
like people around.
Mhm.
And I literally saw ladies, and we were roommates at one point, at least in Ojuma, sure
Sure, yeah.
we were roommates. I usually would see ladies, especially our sisters,
A daddy boy.
treat you so differently from me. And it was like one, of course, I was not jealous or anything like that. I was frustrated because
Really, it can be frustrating.
in my mind, I felt like, okay, the person that you are squirming and doing all this for, when you were a fake, like like it will not be the person this person is likely going to end up with. Tí ìjà bẹ̀ tó bá kọjá shoulder ó try. And me, I'm here, oh, I'm here. Hey,
There you were.
we, hey, hey,
Oh dear.
Let me lay consider. Oh,
Well, I will say I overlooked that or I won't play ignorant.
it definitely happens. And I think to your credit,
Mm,
I can say that. as someone who basically worked with you all. Yeah, I don't think you took any like advantage of that, like the female attraction, especially amongst Muslim ladies. I must say that.
Mhm.
Because I think it was it would have been very easy for you to do. The non-Muslim ladies, I don't know, I cannot say. You had your very Igboro face. You understand? But
Yeah.
I guess the question sort of like leading out from that is that was the whole setup of the whole pretty privilege thing.
Mm.
How have you like dealt with people treating you differently because of the way you look, especially, and how have you sort of like managed, especially in medical school, how did you sort of like manage the whole female attraction that was coming your way?
Uh, but I'm not sure where I know where you're coming from, but I'm not sure where you're going to.
That's really literally the question. I don't know
Because
anyway.
yeah, like I mentioned, I won't play ignorant of that. Yes, I was fully aware of like, okay, what was happening around me then, um, especially okay with sisters, some of them, I would say all of them. And I think you and I know that, yes, I think you're trying to give me some credit that I might not like, okay, say that, okay, I can claim it with my full chest. But I think what happened was, if you know very well that myself and my Taiwo,
Mm,
that we went into relationship quite early
early, yeah.
in school. And I think it was a kind of relationship that I was really okay. I won't say from the beginning, but I think by the time we were like, okay, entering part three, I was already like, okay,
Fully
committed.
committed.
Astaghfirullah, astaghfirullah. I won't say that me not like, okay, involving myself with other sisters and all that was fully from the fear of Allah, astaghfirullah. But
Mm,
I would say it was born out of the love
for this
for
other person.
you understand. And um there will be time that yes, the challenges will be there. And I would say it's not even challenge, the temptation.
Yeah.
They were quite high. Um, if I remember very well, there was someone who actually approached me and told me that I was the biggest disappointment that
Oh my God.
that was the biggest disappointment she could ever face or that she has ever met.
Was that
And
because you were in a relationship or something? Or
what
just because
exactly
you weren't paying
because
attention
I
to her,
was
what
not
happened?
paying, yes, I was not paying attention. You know, when sister like, okay, invited you to their house two
Mm,
times, you were giving excuses,
fair enough.
and um, they they even brought you food.
Oh my God. Water cooler.
Exactly. I think Lawa knows about this to some
This is
extent.
shit.
You understand? So yeah, there were times like that, and yes, I remember very well too. When we're doing like maybe we do programs,
Yeah.
and you see like okay, um, the kind of like treatment
It was very clear.
that you get that I got back then. To and you know, honestly, you and I know, say when we are talking about fine boy, I know they. Baba, now just you know,
I think people
back
saw
in
that
school,
differently, I think.
bro, let's face the reality. Back in school, when we're talking about fine boys, in our class, you'll be talking about the likes of Toba. You'll be talking
Mm,
about the likes of Jimmy. You'll be
mm,
talking about what's it called? This tall guy, black, Wale.
yeah.
Yeah, is that yeah, we have quite a number of like fine boys, and even among my brothers. And like you're just selling yourself short because you were kind of a a nonchalant person from time.
Fair
That
enough.
okay, things like that did not like okay, say okay, oh, dressing to kill. You remember how we were doing it then, like what's the name of
Yeah.
this guy? Adebayo, and this O&G consultant.
Okay. Okay.
What is it Boyo?
But yeah, yeah.
Remember the nickname he gave me then was Ege.
It's
Because
fair.
all the shirts must be starched, well glittered, and all that to the extent that
Yeah.
even consultants noticed that. I think it
So
was a
like,
senior reg then. Noticed
yeah.
that shirt leg, those kind of thing. I just had to like, okay, I was paying attention to maybe some of those frivolities and all that, and it's funny how that happened to be like, okay, something.
I think it's pretty interesting to look back on. Yeah, I think it's pretty interesting. Um sort of moving on from that, I sort of wanted to check like going back, the good thing is we have been so much in tune that we did our plab runs together. I think our plab two runs. I have this picture of myself like I was sick normally. You and Tolani,
Falani, I think I remember the picture you're talking
yeah,
about
in the hotel in Lagos when we're doing
in
plab two,
Lagos.
when we're
Yeah.
doing plab two prep, and then sort of like coming back. That if we were doing that sort of like again, are there things that you wish that we knew before relocating? Are there things you think like if there's anyone relocating now that you think they should know before coming into the system? Are there things off the top of your head? Are there things that you thought that okay, we realized this late, and if we had actually realized this earlier, maybe our lives would have been like slightly different or slightly better, and things like that. And
Well,
yes, just before you answer that question, I think this is a general question, and from the way I, of course, discuss with people, it's a question I battle with every single time. Before you answer that particular question, what are your thoughts about the eventual relocation? Do you think we should have stayed back?
let me start from the later one. Personally, I have some regrets about relocation. However, if I'm to put it side by side, I think I will still like choose me relocating over because back home in Nigeria, why I said I have some regrets is because um back home in Nigeria. You remember I was working with NGO. I
Yeah,
was with
yeah.
Business of Frontier for like 2.5 years. So I won't say that I was really lacking that much, at least for my status
Yeah.
then, because I could remember very well. I think back then, senior registrar salary was not even, it was about maybe 300,000 or so, if it was
Yeah,
up to
maybe around 350, 350. I think my salary as a registrar was around 280 or something like that.
380.
Eventually, that was after an increase, actually.
And there I was earning on the average, the months that I get maybe 450, 500 were months that I feel like, oh, maybe the like, okay,
Yeah, it
get,
worked.
you understand? There were months that you could get up to 750K. So it was drizzy to some extent. And the urge to like relocate was born out of that, like, okay, peer influence. Which was, yes, it has its benefits, it has its advantage, and it has its disadvantage. Not
Absolutely.
like I think I was getting to a point where I was becoming comfortable. And the initial plan that I had in my head, I think if what's the name now? Amir Said. interestingly, if he watches this episode, he will remember very well that I had plan that I had already discussed with him, and I was already like, okay, feeling like I could make the money to execute the plan. He
Hmm.
had the same plan, and he was already, because he was a year senior, so he
Yeah,
was already doing it, and I saw
yeah,
that like it's something that will yield. So,
yeah,
and he now is established in Nigeria.
yeah,
Very like he's got good hospital, he's well established in his estate and all that.
yeah.
And felt like at times I look back and I feel like could have just stayed
Done
there
that.
and do that, and like who knows,
Yeah,
you understand. But the what's it called? The other side of it is the fact that, like you mentioned, we should always be grateful to Allah
absolutely.
for the privilege. Because at times, like, okay, when you talk to people back home, I have friend that I'm not going to mention name, that he has money, he's working, like he has his own hospital and is big enough and is making good money. And whenever we talk, his fear is about security.
Yeah, yeah,
Like that, okay, yeah, you're saying I have money. Yes, I'm getting some money, but what is the benefit if I cannot close with my two eyes? I cannot sleep with my two eyes closed.
yeah.
Understand? So and I don't think, I think yes, you can be for me hard boy. I'm a very soft.
You like the soft life.
I like soft life. I don't say, I think, yeah, that liberty of like, okay, security. And also, in all fairness, we might be saying, yes, the system is crazy here. The tax is a lot, there's a lot of bills and all that. But that money has a strong purchasing power, and it could offset some things that normally,
Okay.
if I dip hand into my maybe 750,000 naira per month in Nigeria back then to offset some things, I go feel them.
Mm. Yeah, yeah.
But
You know, one thing also, when I like get into that mindset
mhm,
that I sort of think about, apart from, of course, the security issue and then the amenities issue, is that these two things, and they are funny, they might be small, but they are also practical because, of course, when I was in Nigeria, I would normally travel every weekend. I would normally go home, so I would the Ife Ibadan road, I would usually be there, and I
yeah.
will get like so many checkpoints on the way.
Mm.
And since I've been here, I've not paid any policeman anything,
No, bro.
and I've not paid any bribe in like the ministries to like move files.
Nah,
You
nah,
understand? So those sometimes they're small in the grand scheme of things because of course you're thinking about, social support that is available back home that you own that or that you left behind.
yeah, yeah.
And sort of like your friends as well, your ability to sort of like to go out
Out.
because just like you said, so but sort of the counterweight to that is like the little thing
Mm, mm.
that
Yeah, that, yes.
you would have to spend through your nose to do or you would have to do
I'll
that feels
tell you a
illegal.
story. In 2022, talking about the social challenges and all that, I made a decision that I was going to relocate my wife and the kids back to Nigeria. And it wasn't an easy decision, but things were tough enough for me to be like,
No,
when
it's
I
the
say
next
things
step.
that were tough enough, now I'm not even talking financially,
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely,
and
absolutely.
that I felt like I think it's best if we just move. to Nigeria. And that was me after 2 years in the UK.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. And that was my wife and the kids after 1 year in the UK.
Okay.
And we got to Nigeria, going from London, Heathrow, I was still like, yes, I'm doing this. This is the way. Bro, the moment we landed in Nigeria, the reality like hitted me, and I was just like, what am I doing? Or what have I done?
What have you done?
Like, in fact, it was like everybody was frustrated, was angry. They were not angry at
Oh
me. It's just
my
the way
God.
they talk. It's the way, don't let me say they, it's the way we talk.
Wait all.
Because I can remember very well when Taiwo is talking. Whenever Taiwo is talking to Khalid, like giving command and all that, the boy
Yeah.
will be like, Mom, why are you shouting?
Oh my God.
You talking to me, I'm here. Don't shout. When I'm talking like, sure, wow, okay, what you have to say? No. The guy will come and say, you're shouting. And I'll be like,
And what's wrong with you?
who is shouting? Are you okay? There was a day I had to call the boy and like, come, see, we're not shouting. This
This
is
is
the
who
way.
we are.
So you see when your mommy said that, take the plates to the kitchen. That's the way she talk. Oh. If she shouted, you will know.
You will know.
Yeah, or reaching the Muritala Babel Airport. Oh boy, I knew that that was not sustainable. Like that, immediately there, I concluded that my decision was wrong.
What's wrong?
There's no way I was going to do that because, like, everybody wanted to obtain you. Even when people, you become, because of the way some people have treated you, then you become paranoid, such that when somebody is actually like extending a good hand of service to
Hmm.
you, you're thinking otherwise.
Yeah.
Everybody
Yeah.
wants something from you.
Want
Everybody.
something.
So
Yeah.
nothing was
Yeah.
looking genuine
Yeah.
again. And I remember very well, Taiwo got frustrated that she had to like, okay, rake for one of the officer there that
Yeah.
what exactly do you want? What are you doing?
Mm.
You understand? So the those things are things that you look back, yes, it's more serene, if I can put it that way,
Yeah. Yeah.
out here. But the Nigerian in me still miss that.
Absolutely.
That's why you see me. I don't know. I think we've talked. I go to Nigeria like
Oh,
because
God.
I cannot afford not to be like, apart from say, okay, yes, I always want to like at least see my parents and have a chat with them and all that. But there's this way I like, okay, balance my brain when I go get some good,
Yeah.
then come back, but I feel like, okay, I'm abroad again because this place start looking like a very boring, like
Yeah.
boring environment and all that.
Yeah.
So I go to Nigeria, I just feel like I get refreshed in a way. I don't know how it
Absolutely.
happened. Maybe some neurotransmitters in my brain are just and like as soon as I cannot be popping sertraline, at least I can go refresh my brain
Reset
and
and then come back.
then come back here. So that's one. Those are things that okay. I would say I feel like might be like I could have waited or stayed behind for. But if I put it on a scale, I don't think it's still big enough for me to stay behind in Nigeria. I was still like, okay, I'll do this again, except things changes in the country and maybe we have better security,
Yeah.
better social amenities and all that.
Mhm.
Um, like the last time I went to Nigeria and I was driving, I don't know, bro, if you go home and you try to drive now,
I don't think I'll be able to drive. I
Bro,
don't
no,
think
no,
so.
you will do it because I did
I
eventually.
can't. It will take a lot of getting used to. You have to sort of like relearn driving
Exactly.
here. I was an express road user at least once a week
Mm.
when I was in Nigeria, and I did not know that there was like a fast lane. I would
Okay.
overtake from both
From any
lanes
side that is open.
without without any
Yeah, yeah. And
so
that
yeah.
that that will frustrate you when you're now driving on a highway in Nigeria
Mm.
and everybody is just coming. There's no line to start.
Yeah. Yeah,
Except I think the
absolutely.
only place I drove that I felt a bit safer was in Abuja.
Okay.
Because yes, the highway there, most of them are like well marked, but
Mm.
despite that, people still like, okay, do anyhow, but at least.
Wow.
But then some things like, okay, traffication and all that, bro, you want to tell Lobado, why?
Báwo báwo bí crowd Ìbàdàn sí?
All those big crime, so no, ọwọ́ mi, àbí báwo lọ́jọ́. Those things can be frustrating, but in all honesty, that's still not enough reason to say that okay, even if as much as I said yes, I want to japa again, but
Yeah.
bro, I don't want to live the rest of my life or die in this country. I still feel like Nigeria is the country that I will definitely go back to. That's the country where I want to like okay live like my end time and also and probably retire into because
Yeah.
still no places like home. No matter
Yeah.
how comfortable you feel here, forget the fact that yeah, you maybe eventually you become a British or something. But yeah, Nigeria is still Nigeria. Nigeria, we're still Nigerian. And I just feel like yeah, everybody, I don't know, we should have a kind of retirement plan.
Yeah.
Uh,
Yeah.
uh, for
If
things, things that are not like okay. And we should like it's just scary, but I feel like we can contribute our quota as well. I was talking to a friend 2 days ago, and we're talking about like, okay, if you have your investments in Nigeria and you're established, there's nothing that says you cannot go. And he mentioned something about, okay, what about if the policy changes and or the security things affect your he cited some two examples that I feel like what am I going to do? But yeah, I still, irrespective, sure, I feel like personally, I would love to like, okay, go back home at a certain age and just go and live at home.
yeah, I think everyone has a version of like their thoughts or their answer to that particular question as regards what you want to do in your later years. God help us with like long life and everything. Yeah, I don't know if you watched the part where I asked Jimmy that question. Jimmy said when he's about like 70, that he would go and buy like he and like his friends, because I'm on quotes, they would go and buy like a whole estate in Nigeria and live and live there. Everyone has a version. My own sort of thought of that is I think yes, like the Nigerian in me wants to do that. But I'm 5 years, I've not been back, just like 5 years.
You are Darren, yeah, now.
And and the question is always what is home? You understand? And what eventually will be home in 5 or 10 years now. I think home is very attractive now to
Now,
us because our parents are there,
parents are
because
there.
because our friends are there. Right now, I don't have as much friends in Nigeria as I had 5 years ago. Most of them have not been I've not been in touch. To be fair, I've also been horrible about not keeping in touch.
Mm.
Okay. So in 5 or 10 years, things might change, and then it becomes what exactly is home at that point. because as you tend to keep losing like friends and family around home, you are going to be putting more and more roots here.
Yeah, yeah,
And
you're
then
right.
that is something to reflect on. I wanted to touch on growing up for you. The reason why I wanted to do this was I think it's still the same thing that we've known each other for too long.
Yeah,
Because naturally, sometimes in like medical school, there's solo part of medical school when I would be like unwell as usual, as usual, and I sort of like needed somewhere to sort of like go to and like go away from like the student accommodation that we were. I would literally just like call you off and then basically just come to your house even without any like free anything.
yeah,
Or you'd come and visit us, and I'll be like, okay, yeah, I'm going to your house, and naturally, you basically just call your mom, and literally, your mom will make my own EBA plus everybody in there. Sometimes in your house, we'll be like seven, yeah, yeah, in your house. So, I guess um, it's my own sort of like interpretation of your upbringing was that it was quite open because it has to be open for you to not even tell them yesterday that you're going to bring a friend and to come and sleep in the house, and literally your friend is going to come. So I just wanted to like talk a bit about like what growing up was like in your household to that extent that you could actually bring a friend over to come and sleep.
yeah. The interesting thing about this question is when we were younger, how what you do in your family is known to you, and you never ever imagine it as a thing until you go out
And
and
I
you
done
see
differently.
how other people. I'll tell you a story. I don't like remembering this, but yeah, it's one of those things. Because this chap is still my friend today, and in fact, with the parents, each time he calls me, like if the parents are there, we happen to talk.
Mm.
But apparently, things like this that you describe about my family, the way we are, and everything was just us. We were raised in a family where growing up. I never ever had a moment that it was just my nuclear family.
Yeah.
I never ever
Yeah.
had a moment. Even up to now, at home, all of us, literally all of us, the four of us, myself, Wale, Yinka, and Demola, none of us is at home. But if you go to my house today,
There's
you're
still people in
seeing
the house.
nothing less than five cousins, living at home with our parents. And that's the
Yeah.
way it's been. And the the openness is not just to like, okay, the family or extended family, is to friends as well.
Mm.
Um, when we were growing up, because yeah, uh, I think we moved to Osun State in 1990. Was it 1992 that they created Osun State from Oyo
I,
State, something
I
like
cannot I cannot remember.
that? Yeah, that was when we moved. And I remembered very well. My dad was working with the Internal Revenue Service in Osun State then, and he was like, he had friends that, had cars that they would come to the house, they park in front of the house. But my dad he did not even have a machine. You understand? And in a way, as a child, my mentality was those guys were richer
Mm, mm.
and they should be the one like taking responsibilities or doing things.
Yeah.
Yeah. But Popsy made us realize that that's not definition of rich or how
Yeah.
wealthy people are. It comes from the heart rather than more of the physical cash and the luxury that you can afford. Because then this man's friend, they will come, the kind of social life we're talking about when at
Absolutely.
6 p.m., like you have the dads, like they come from
Yeah.
different houses in the neighborhood, they sit around, they feast, the kids are playing, we're outside playing and all
Mm,
that in the compound.
mm.
And my dad would literally like be there, like take responsibility of everything,
Everything that they're doing.
eating,
Yeah.
drinking, my mom will cook, bring out food, they will eat and
Yeah.
feast. And they'll come back the following day.
They're not paying. They're not paying for what they did yesterday.
And, and my mom was never the type that complained about
Yeah.
that. I think she
Love
was
it.
happy
To do
doing
it.
it. For me as a child, I can't lie to you, bro. I was not 100% because I'm like, this man never buy car. He's living, we were living in a face me and face you. You know that
Yeah.
those house.
Yeah.
We're
Yeah.
living in a face me and face you. And these friends, yes, some of them, it's not their house, but they were living in flats. I was in Union Baptist School, which was a public school,
Very cool.
and some of them have their kids in Excel,
Yeah.
God, like private school.
Very
I think
cool.
that was the the beginning of things that okay. I just realized that it's not a function of like how rich you are or how much, don't let us use the word rich now, how much you have or stuff like that.
Yeah.
It comes from the heart. It's just people's personality and all that. And that's just how, like, okay, my parents are, even up to now. And that's how I also see life. And I remember very well, when we were in school, I told my girlfriend, Taiwo then, that I'm a family person.
Mhm.
And the last thing I want in my house is a wife that will not allow people
For
to
comment.
come
Yeah.
around me, my family to come around, me able to host my friends, those kind of thing. I told her that because I had experience, which is what I was going to tell you about, like, okay, me thinking that that is how life is, that is normal. Until when we were in school, secondary school,
Mhm.
I have sorry,
Yeah, sure.
friends that I will invite on.
Mm.
We're going to feast, drink. And one day, I just decided to follow a friend.
I think this was funny.
I decided to follow a friend home as well with that mentality of,
Man
oh,
said,
I'm going to my friend's room. I'm going to like, okay,
yeah.
we feast, play around, and all that. And we got to this my friend has been to my place
Yeah.
multiple,
And sis. Yeah.
and is the type that, so I could see where he was coming from, that he wanted me to come to
Oh,
his house. But immediately we like, okay, start approaching the gate. Like I could see the
I was like,
labor, like he was not the countenance changed and everything. But I was just like, "Kí ló ṣẹlẹ̀? What's happening?" I was like, no, no, no problem. Let's go. We entered, and yeah, I saw the mom. The dad was not back from work. So I saw the mom. She welcomed me and all that. And I sat in the in the living room. I was watching TV, and I watched TV for like only God knows. As in the ambience in the house, the way my parents, my mom
Yeah.
specifically will come. Ah, ọkọ
Mm.
mi báwo ni? Ọjọ́
Yeah.
mẹ́ta, àwọn ọmọ mi ńkọ́,
Absolutely.
àwọn dáàdi ńkọ́,
Absolutely.
kìnìkan, kìnìkan.
Yeah.
All those like
Yeah.
things that
Yeah. Yeah.
make you feel welcomed, that make you
Absolutely.
feel at home and all that.
Absolutely.
I didn't get that. Not even like, okay, water to say drink and all that. I
Yeah,
started feeling odd.
where's the feast? Where's the feast?
It started feeling odd, and like in my head, I had a picture. There was a reason I wanted to follow this chap home because
Yeah.
he was a rich kid.
Yeah.
Among us, you can tell these kids that yes, their parents are like okay, much well to do. They drive
Yeah.
them to school, all those kind of things. So I just wanted to have a feel of that and have an experience of okay, what is it like with them and everything. And I was just like, I left that house. I didn't feel good. Like like I don't like you. Bro. I was just like, no. I got home. I remember very well when my dad came back from work. I could not hold it.
Yeah.
Just had to like tell him that I went to this guy's house today.
It's
That
not
dad
like
didn't
our house.
remember.
It's not like our house.
And seriously, the man just laughed. He just laughed and say, you think life is all about like life is
Yeah.
this
Yeah.
everywhere. No, and he told me something that doesn't mean that the parents are mean, but that is their own
Anyway.
way of life. That's their own life. That's the way they live, and it doesn't make them a bad person or anything like that. And my point there is me and this chap, we still remain friends.
Mhm.
And when I gained admission into medical school, I don't know, I think it's because the parents are all this academic kind
Oh,
of.
I see.
When I gained admission to medical school, and he told them that I was admitted to medical school, I think it's changed things. I went, there was a break, I think after our 200 level stuff. So I went
Mm.
home to Shobo. Then my friend was back from school as well. Then I went to visit him.
I see.
And the countenance, like they were so happy to see me.
I
They were so
see.
happy to receive me. I let you
Yeah.
in school now. Ah, doctor, can this kind of thing.
Yeah.
And we still like talk. We're still part about it today. So what I was trying to say is like families are different,
Yeah.
and the way we see life
It's very different.
is also different. And it can just be a challenge if you come from that kind of background and you now happen to be with somebody who does not mix,
Yeah. Yeah.
So it has is where I would say disadvantage, but like that's one part of it as well. You can
Yeah.
imagine you coming from that kind of like growing up, you have a picture of how your estate is going to
Yeah.
be like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
if you now
Yeah.
happen to be with somebody who like even like friends, they want to like, okay, no, this is the kind of friend that can come in. This is the kind
Yeah.
of family member that can come in.
That can
Set
come
a
in.
standard that this family member are below. Bro, what do you
Yeah.
mean they are below? Families
Yeah.
are families, friends are friends. Yes, we have like okay, some yardstick that we say okay, we define things, but no, when it comes to like say the kind of person, the kind of life you want to live, like okay, this is the way I want to live, this is me, this is how I see life.
Mm.
And I want to say that it might not be that they are bad, like my daddy said, but it just cannot match if
Yeah.
you are like that and you happen to be with somebody who does not actually value that kind of life. And I
That
think
can
it's
just.
one thing that okay, like we're not what's our generation? Our generation is where? Is
I think we're millennials. I think we're
is
late
it millennial
millennials.
that we are?
I think we're late millennials. I think so.
But I know that this generation, when they're doing courtship or even talking stage, they call it,
Hmm.
when they're doing that, they talk a lot of things,
Yeah, I think so.
which we back then we don't even feel stuck out. We know the reason now. Seriously, they bring a lot of things to the table that you be like, it might sound like selfish, but it's not selfish.
Yeah.
When it comes to relationships, some things needs to be defined. That this is me. This is how I see life. What
Mm,
do you think about this? And it can be a tight breaker for some people, like, okay,
absolutely.
oh,
Absolutely.
I'm like this, you're not like this, then I don't think we can work. People
Mm.
talk more. This generation talks
I
more.
think they do.
It reduce,
I think they're just bolder. It's not like we
yeah,
were not thinking those things, but we did not think we could say it or ask for it.
exactly,
Now, like
exactly,
all these ones, like scales are falling. Everyone is just diving in and saying everything that is on their minds.
exactly. So yeah, yeah. Growing up, that's just the way it was for me, and it was. I would say it was fun. The initial part of life, especially I will tell you the most interesting or the part of my life that I enjoyed more growing up was the part when we've not moved to our own house.
Okay, that's
Yeah.
interesting.
When we were living, you know Alekuodo in Osogbo now?
I don't look for you.
Yeah, sure. Cousin Mama and uncle, they lived in Alekuodo.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
That was the area that like I grew up, and that was a very bubbling area in Osogbo.
yeah,
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 where
yeah.
like we're living in a house that was a face your apartment that has about
Mm.
8 rooms on one side, 8 rooms on the other.
It's
Like every like all the 16 rooms share one bathroom and one
oh, I
toilet.
feel, oh my God.
And we have different kind of personality, different kind of kids. It is now in retrospect that you now realize that some of our counterparts then had maybe some ADHD or
Yeah.
spectrum. Uh, we were tagging them as
Yeah.
untrained, uncultured,
Yeah.
parents
Yeah.
are not like, as
Yeah.
good in parenting as our own parents, those kind of things. You meet different kind of
Absolutely.
personality there.
Absolutely.
It
Absolutely.
was, I would say it was fun, but moving to your own house, living in an estate or whatever they call it, then things became like, okay, you turn to a fenced,
Offense people. Yeah, absolutely.
yeah, set of people that you don't have that mixture that much again and all that.
Yeah. Yeah, I think fun times. Especially I enjoyed it. I enjoyed the fact that I could say it was like so for me it was like a home away from that's what it
Yeah.
felt to me. Because your parents were so welcoming. Your brother felt like my brother. Like I walked in and he was like, okay, I'll sleep in the sitting room. Go and sleep in the go and
Yeah,
sleep in
yeah, yeah,
it was fun. Sort of
mhm.
moving on and sort of like rounding up, just a couple of like quick fire questions, no explanations, nothing.
Okay.
Who would you say, do you have like three people that you think have impacted your journey, your life journey the most?
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Uh,
who are they?
yeah, I'll say definitely my parent. I'll count my parent as one.
As one. Okay.
As one.
Okay.
Then I'm
For
going.
obvious reasons, definitely.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Then I have an uncle that yes was really really impactful in terms of okay motivating me and like okay guiding. Then
Mhm.
I'll say Taiwo. Uh,
No.
sorry.
Yeah, sorry.
I would say Taiwo for both positive and the other reasons.
For a lot of
Because
reasons.
yeah, yeah, for a lot of reasons, I think yes, Taiwo was a big influence or impact on like okay, how I see life and all that.
I
From
see.
right from school up to like okay, the current state and all that.
Yeah, yeah. So Then sort of like the last question is a bit of deep or fake deep question, whichever one. What would you want to be remembered for? Sort of like if everything comes to an end, or when everything eventually comes to an end, isn't it? When everything comes to an end and like people are discussing you, what would you want to be remembered for?
To be honest, it's not something that is hard to think about, but it is something that anytime that thought cross my mind, I always want to like okay, just bro, push it. And like you know how you do things and they are normal for you, but people come around to talk about it like, oh, that you do this, oh, he did this for me, he did this for me, he always do this, he always do this. I think that's how I see life. It's not like, okay, maybe something specific because you know that the way I relate with you is not the same way that I relate with some of our other friends.
Yeah,
And I was telling somebody recently that I just believe in emotional bank account with people. What you are going to remember me for will most likely be different from what somebody like Wahid.
no,
Or I can even say, yeah, for some set of friends, like for yourself, Wahid, all our other friends, yeah, we might have some common things.
no, next.
But yeah, I believe that as an individual, I should have the way I impact people's life should be kind of like unique to their needs
To them.
or the relationship I have with them.
Mm, mm,
I believe that yes, when that time comes, I'm not creating that picture in my head, but what I'm doing is I'm having good emotional bank account with people that like
okay, cool.
matters in my life, and I believe that okay, if God willing that we live a long life, yes, I will be able to like have as in more impact on much more people than current and people will share their different stories about me. But at least there are some things that are basic that belong for. Irrespective of anything, at least that remembrance of say he was a good Muslim is one thing I always, even when I'm praying, I pray for it. I
If you're
know I
right.
struggle to like, okay, make sure that, okay, I do all the things that I really, really want to do as a Muslim, but I still pray that, yes, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala should make it easy that when I'm done, everybody should be able to say he was a good Muslim.
And I think that is a good point to put a pin in this. Of course, we would have less formal discussion. We have less formal discussions all the time,
Yeah.
all the time.
Bro,
And I
when we
think
started this, we said 30
we
minutes.
said 30 minutes. That's exactly the same thing that happened with Jimmy. This is almost 1.5 hours, isn't it? Because
Yes, now we
we did the
started,
recording like 3 times.
yeah, well done.
Bro, let me leave you and go. For your patience tomorrow. Thank you for coming on. I really appreciate it. Thank you. Round of applause for our
It's a
for our
pleasure for
friend.
like okay, like considering us coming to all in focus podcast.
Yeah,
Thank you very much for
absolutely,
coming.
absolutely. I can count on my hands, on this hand, how many people I'm going to get out your number
Yeah, good.
two. There's just literally about three more people to come up before I start to see my family and my
Okay.
dad and my mom on the podcast. And
Don't
I just
worry. I
come
believe
into
I believe Baba, these are guys started. We are going places. Don't worry. Just keep up the energy.
no, nice.
Inshallah. Vibe and inshallah.
Thank you. If you are not going to tell me that, who's going to tell me?
All right,
All right,
bro.
all right, but thanks for
Thank
coming. I appreciate it,
you.
man.
Yeah.
Enjoy, right?
Yes, bro.